2015 meeting of the East Hampton Conservation Commission. The meeting is being recorded. We have, are there any public concerns or non-agenda items? Since there's no one here from the public, let's move on to...
I have a non-agenda item.
What is your
Jim
non-agenda
Brascia
item?
emailed me today about meeting him tomorrow with the Wemco over on Phelps and Line Street. They want to do some kind of work at that substation, which may involve removing trees, so I'll meet him at 9 o'clock and try to understand what it is and email everybody back.
What's this? Oh, at Wamelco Way?
No, well, it's on Line Street and Phelps,
Oh,
where
so
the power
it's
station is, where the little switching station is.
Eversource.
But Black Brook runs right there,
Yeah,
so
it does.
so it's gonna be within 200 feet of that, so
Okay, so then the question is, and that's tomorrow morning?
9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
And it's Line Street?
Line,
L-I-N-E.
Okay,
Over
just wanna make
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Country Road line, I'm not sure where the,
Okay, Phelps at Line Street.
I know exactly where it is.
And it's within the buffer zone or within?
It's
it looks like it's gonna be in the buffer zone of
White Brook.
White Brook.
And White Brook may or may not be
Okay.
perennial at that point, so,
So I'll need some help in that understanding.
yeah, it depends on what the work is.
Right, that's what, I just don't know, so
Yeah.
I'll email everybody tomorrow.
Just be careful with the meeting law, please. No deliberations over email.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, so, I have not scheduled a site visit for 37 South Street. I will try to get to that for our next meeting, so there'll be a date. In general, for site visits now that it's later, are non-meeting Monday evenings okay? Better than
Preferable.
weekends?
Yeah, probably better.
Okay, so,
We have T-ball starting up now. It's like 12 days a week for a 4-year-old.
gotta start young. Or not.
Maybe just 2 days, but it seems like 12.
Feels like
Yeah, it seems.
That said, I think is 5:30 or 6 in terms of just general start time.
No problem.
Would 5:30 be okay for most?
Yeah, me as well.
I'm just trying to get an idea if we schedule things in advance. I'd probably only schedule one, unless I'm sure it's gonna be quick, one site visit per evening, just because it's a home with my family. Okay. Compliance updates, active projects, open permits. Mount Thomas Estates, is anything happening over there? Fall Street Extension, Gillian Estates?
There has been some stuff going on. I think they may be starting, they're doing something at one of the lots that's like closer to, further away from the cul-de-sac, closer to, the older areas of the neighborhood.
Like
And
your
it-
house.
Yeah, exactly. But it may be the part that's out of the buffer zone. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I think as you were driving in, the lots on the north
Two
were,
lots were out.
and then the lots on the south side as you were driving in were not in buffer zone.
Right.
Because the buffer
Well,
zone,
It may be one of the north lots. It's next to one of the houses that, one of the first ones that was
oh,
constructed.
that would be the north side.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. If it's on
Yeah.
the right-hand side when you drive in, they're all in buffer zone.
Oh,
Is
there,
it a house
okay.
that's already there, or is it a vacant lot?
It's a vacant lot that now is mostly a hole in the ground, I believe.
So we need a site visit?
Well, if they're doing work and it's in buffer zone, then they need to start up with the weekly reports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think I noticed it in the last week.
okay. And I wasn't looking for a weekly update, but I didn't notice any in the email, did you?
The only report we received was for the Wescomic,
PCT?
the PCT project.
Okay.
That's the only one.
Okay. Pleasant Street Mills, out to bid, same schedule.
Bids came in last week. We're in the process of doing the notice of award right now, so it'll be probably a couple more weeks before construction starts, but we hope to have some activity starting in May.
So if it's in buffer zone, we'll get weekly reports. Glendale, Loudville, West Pomeroy Meadow intersection and roadway reconstruction, Jay.
Met with Victoria Strange, Jim Gracia, and a bunch of people from the state, which was kind of a closeout meeting or attempted a closeout meeting, but there were a couple areas that had some issues. One of them's the hill that faces Jim Gracia's property. Is the grass is really not taken. The people from the state want to come back and put a biodegradable mesh on it and reseed it. So that sounded good.
Okay.
They also want to remove the silt fences and things, but I think they should wait just because it's still looking a little unstable.
We took these on last Thursday,
Yes,
was
Thursday
it?
morning.
So Thursday was the 23rd.
So held on Thursday, the 23rd.
And the only
Those look
other
fresh.
bad area
So can we just slow down a second? Does
Yeah,
this
no
area at the slope of Jim Gracia's property?
faces
Yeah.
Jim Grace's property,
So
faces
it's
the southish
Yeah, it's the corner of
West Street. And
South and West.
That needs work, that needs...
Further, the
They
stabilization.
want
Stabilization.
they want to put a biodegradable mesh on it and reseed it
Bio...
to stabilize it.
Okay, and the other location was where?
Yeah, where were those hay bales?
They just want to
Those
remove
are
hay
across the
bales
street.
and wattles in all locations, but it just seems like it's just been too cold and things are not established enough, so I think we should wait a few more weeks and just
I agree.
see how it goes. I mean, they're trying to close it up. so.
Did they talk about the BVW replacement area
We looked at it.
Okay.
Where the
where they did the Phragmites control?
you can still see it coming back up, so I mean, it's just, has to be treated for multiple years, correct?
Right, and they have annual reporting
Okay.
requirements, so.
We didn't get into any reporting, we looked at it from the top, and you could see where there were the two shrubs were planted in the reclaimed area that were promised. They looked like they were surviving, but small, but the Phragmites were still coming up in the original location,
Okay.
little shoots.
It's almost gonna be impossible.
Yeah, it's just the only other area.
So did you tell them that they couldn't take the hay bales, or do we need to get back to them on that?
No, I told them, she got back to me asking again, and I said, well, she wanted to know when our next meeting was. I told her it was going to be tonight,
Okay.
and that we should wait
Okay.
until we get more ground cover, because it just is too sporadic in some areas.
Okay.
And the only other odd place is on West Street where that area was blowing out originally. So they made a little bit of a wall here, so when it comes off the street, it kind of protects that a little bit, but then where it heads towards the brook, it still, it doesn't look real stable. It doesn't look, there's a wattle in there, but after that breaks down, I'm not sure what the long-term solution's gonna be.
Wasn't this was where they were gonna do turf reinforcement mats?
Yeah.
Was it changed? I thought,
There are mats in the rest of the area, but right where that is, I don't know if the mats are overrun or just not visible, or
And where is this on? This is at
it's
West...
on West Street,
West Street near
Jim
Hanover.
Gracia's side of the street.
yeah,
And H-A-N-A-N-A-N.
Hanum.
U-M. Thank you.
could I see that one?
You see that one? Are we done?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks, oh, good.
Oh, you can.
You can see it on the other side of the,
Yeah.
Okay.
so they have some
Some
cleanup and
explaining
some
to
cleanup.
So I don't know what we want to request them to do in that area, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term solution where the way it currently is.
No. Do we want to schedule a site visit with Jim Gracia so all more can see it? Just
We can do that with everybody. Maybe when we're going by to the next site visit, we just stop by there and
Okay.
the same evening.
Knock on Jim's door.
Yeah.
It can only take 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, the tricky part there is
Parking. Yes.
Just parking gyms.
We parked where the house was removed and
Yeah.
walked that way.
Yeah. Okay. So, contact
You
Jim
gonna schedule
about.
that?
I'll contact Jim about the BBW replication area monitoring requirements and scheduling a site visit to view the areas that Jay noted.
Scheduling site visit, and what was the other one about BBW?
They are supposed to do annual reporting.
For the invasive species?
Yep. And the replication area in general. So unless that's in our mail. Which I sincerely, I don't think it is. Doesn't appear to be.
Okay.
So I'll ask him about that too. Okay. Nashawamic Mills, 15 Cottage Street, we still have not received any updates.
The only weird or odd place is where that, there were the straw walls around that one area
Yeah,
that
they're not
faced
there
directly. They're
anymore.
not there anymore. It's kind of gravelly, but there's nothing there, so I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be a hole?
well,
It's a direct
it's-
conduit to the stream. It's just a pipe.
Yeah, it's just a pipe that goes
It's in the
into.
parking, that's in the gravel area.
It's
outside
the
the
same
parking
one
area.
that's out we've always had problems with, but now there's no protection around it whatsoever.
Get like a cookie over it or something?
Okay. Awesome.
So a site visit for that as well, or are you gonna contact the,
I mean, the photo is
Or-
pretty much,
That's the same.
yeah, there's not much you can.
nothing else, yeah, right, so there's no need to do a site visit, but,
The rest of the site is pretty stable, so I don't think the banks are gonna wash down into it. It's just the local area.
Mhm.
correct, and this is a direct
That's a direct
discharge
discharge.
Yes.
to, what's the name of the stream?
Um,
Or channel,
It doesn't really have a name.
okay.
Channelized stream. Because it was national, I
Okay.
don't know which is the dominant one in Nashwamak Pond.
And what would be the solution? Well, never mind, that's about to talk.
No, I'm sorry, Nashwamak Pond Promenade is coming along.
Coming along fine.
Good.
I haven't seen any
Remember the last time that
compliance
he
reports.
sent a compliance
Yeah.
report though, so I'll bring
Yep.
it up on Thursday.
No, I think they were up to speed as of
As
the
of
last
last
meeting.
meeting, they were up to the date, but
Okay,
for the
so
last
they're out by
couple,
about
couple
2
few
weeks.
weeks, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say 3 weeks.
No updates on the Oxbow. Brickyard Brook Conservation Area culvert replacement, we got a weekly report saying that they were back on site.
Yes. The site looks great. I mean, it's stabilized. I think they got requested for this to be complete. In the email, they requested,
Did they include the request for certificate?
they
of
did not. They
compliance?
just,
Okay,
they
so-
just submitted the report for April 17th, and, site is stable, no signs of any erosion. I believe I believe it's finished, and they're gonna submit the certificate of compliance.
Okay, that'd be great.
Lot of rock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We might have, we'll see what they request.
There's one hole near the road that still isn't filled in. Like they have this whole slope of rock, and then there's still at the top of it, they haven't filled it.
Yeah, I think it looks like that in one of the pictures where it's kind of just a swale, an unarmored swale.
Oh yeah, like up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just assumed they weren't done yet, but if they're saying
That's
they're
this.
done.
Yep.
It's
That's
possible
an
they haven't
access
done it.
road.
I have to read the
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
Wow.
to see if they come forward with a request for certificate of compliance, which is what you do to close out your order of conditions. But we also need to revisit the filing and see what site stabilization we're looking for is final. Okay. I don't think we've heard anything from Mr. LeGrand.
I went by the Fort Hill Brewery to check on the fire pit for Chris. So I stopped at 19 River Street on Sunday.
You could get down there. The flooding
It was
had-
open. It was,
Okay.
they had a horse across, but the water had receded. But he happened just to be there. He still has his straw wattles up. This is the area where they removed the septic tank, but it was underwater 2 days ago. So he wants to remove the straw wattles. I just asked him to put straw down and get grass growing on that, and then give me a call in a few weeks, and we'll see what it looks like. So it's progressing. There's no risk. It's a very small area. Right now, it's all covered with silt from the river, so there's no real erosion risk, I don't think.
Thanks for putting the address on these.
Well, I did on some, but the ones that don't have any reference.
Right. Yeah, this is great. So, okay. When, what was the date? Was this all last Thursday?
Sunday. This was
is
Sunday.
Sunday the
yes.
26th?
On that location, yes.
Okay. And Cottage
And Cottage Street
Street?
was Sunday also.
Just noting. Sorry for me.
So I say visit
File for the file.
on Sunday, April 20, what?
Sixth.
And you didn't. Let me just see. So the Connecticut River Oxbow, there's no update on that. Is that what you said? I'm trying
Right.
to just catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. And the open the open drainage to the Channel Line stream picture at Nashwauk Mills is taken when?
Sunday also.
Sunday the
Also Sunday.
26th.
Okay.
Jay, could you forward the photo from 15 Cottage Street to the conservation email?
Sure.
Thank you.
26. Go ahead.
So next is still kind of pending, only because I don't have all the paperwork ready, but I do have the signature page ready for the City of East Hampton Town Beach Nashwauk Pond Fisherman Access Facility. We closed the hearing at our last meeting. So we still have a week we still have a week to go in the window of issuing the order. So I'll finish up the detailed portions of it. But you can all sign it tonight, if folks are so inclined. Where did it go? So, if anyone wants to take a look at, these are draft general conditions that are kind of our boilerplate. So we basically go above and beyond the state form, establishing the commission's rights to enter the site at any time, to have an agent or representative acting on the commission's behalf, such as the planner, go on site. And then a lot of, pre-construction requirements that they notify us of contact information. We establish the weekly monitoring requirement, weekly reporting requirements. And then,
Was that the extra one that we attached last meeting? Let me just see what it was. I don't remember what it was at this point.
we also, Dan, how does this one fall within the stormwater ordinance? Did we talk about that?
No, I don't think we did. I think it's less than an acre of disturbance.
It is less than an acre.
So it's not
Okay.
in the big permit category.
So,
So did Harry Smith resubmit a revised calculation sheet?
yes, he did.
Okay.
Does anyone want to read through? If it's highlighted yellow, I haven't updated it. So if everyone, so the options are we sign the form tonight, and then I just update the details on the attachment to the project summary, and get it to Jessica. Or I do all that and everyone drops by on their own time between now and next Monday to sign the form.
I'm fine signing it now.
Okay, so, and in fact, so even if you weren't here for the meeting, you can still, because the commission voted, this is a ministerial act, and you can just sign it. You don't have to have been present.
Great.
Ministerial.
That's from a newsletter.
It's what?
It's from a newsletter.
That makes it somewhat less official sounding.
Oh, I think Gregor McGregor wrote it.
Oh, okay. Well, Buttrick McButtrick.
Okay.
She's getting
Actually, like
Exciting.
signed off on it, so.
We also put a timeline in for requesting a certificate of compliance, things like that. It at least gives us the,
Can you access these later on online?
what do you mean?
Like, could I read through this again?
Yeah, of course.
You did.
It gets recorded at the registry of deeds.
Huh?
You guys do that, it would be in the file, I can email it to you.
Okay.
I usually save it as a PDF once everyone's signed it. Thank you. And that's- So, thank you all. Sorry I didn't have that ready. It's Dan's fault.
It is definitely not my fault. Indirectly, I guess.
Okay, so I will take care of that. All right. So, moving on. Apparently, there's an amendment number 1 to the forest cutting plan for Bernie Gall's property off Florence Road.
Oh, it's amendment, I thought.
Amendment number 1. Apparently there are no additional stream crossings, so the volume of material being taken out increased by 5 MBF.
Million board feet?
Yes? That would be what that was.
From what to what?
From 305 to 310. So it was adjustments made once snow cover diminished, changes approved in the field, signed by Mel Harder, Harder. Approval of this forest cutting plan serves as an exemption to Chapter 131 Wetlands Protection Act. And that is dated for April 1st, 2015. So,
Is this extra 5 million board feet anywhere in, is it, do they give a description of where it is?
but they do note that no stream crossings are required due to multiple landing locations. So. Does anyone feel the need to go back out there?
No, I mean,
Double check it.
I feel like I have a pretty good understanding for what's going on in it. I mean, that doesn't sound like that big of a change. I mean, it could just be they have better information about.
It talked about the modifications due to melting, basically snow cover going away.
Mhm. The trees look a foot taller once the snow is gone.
5 million for
It's possible.
Actually, I know of an example where they were gonna do the, fair amount of clearing this winter, logging this winter, and they didn't because they were gonna lose too much because of snow depth.
No, interesting. Wow.
So I discovered a thing from U.S. Fish and Wildlife. I don't know if you heard of it, but it was April 15th. It was passed for the long-eared bat, and it said that forest cutting plans and timber harvest have to go through an additional permit. I'm not sure if this one's going to count or not, but Massachusetts is like fully covered by the endangered species
As of
section.
April 15th,
Yeah,
and this is
year.
April 1st.
So that it doesn't count.
I would imagine, unfortunately, that 2-week window.
Okay.
Can you forward that?
Yeah, I actually have like the whole like I need a permit type of layout
Mhm.
that they
Nice.
had online, but it's just a recent discovery. I can definitely forward it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would that just apply to federal permits, or would that be through?
It's both. It's like federal and non-federal projects at least.
Interesting.
Interesting to see how that would play out in an area that isn't mapped as long-eared bat habitat.
They have like a map online and stuff, but it's like in a pretty wide range because it's endangered and not exactly threatened. So some projects can be exempt from it.
Oh my
But
goodness.
It's like covered. 13 states.
Oh, well, at least we don't have any infected vernacular in our county.
I think that what really needs to happen is you need to call U.S. Fish and Wildlife to actually come and like survey the property. But we'll determine, but I don't know if it's anything else we'll need to do that actually counts as this type of project.
Just picturing what a long-haired bat would look like.
Maybe it's on one of those posters.
Yeah. Maybe.
He's adorable. Okay, draft local wetlands protection ordinance. Handed stuff out last week. No? Julie?
I did it.
Or- oh.
I did it.
Get the
star
gold
for you.
star.
That's right. You always know I was a brown noser, right?
You're pretty much in the front row.
Okay, I can save my comments for another time, unless you want them.
Yeah,
Let me hand them to you and you can look at them later?
sure.
Okay, we'll do that after.
Is there anything you want to talk about now, or do you want to?
Well,
Because I
I'm-
won't get rid of them.
no, I think a lot of it is just organization and
Mhm.
clarity to the language.
Okay.
As one that was sort of reading this without ever being one who administers this, I would have a different set of eyeballs, I think, or the way that I approach this. So, and plus, when I write zoning, I have a certain way that I do zoning. So, so I guess just some of the things that, you know, that I was wondering about, or if I was coming in and I needed a permit under the local wetlands, and how that would be folded into the existing permitting structure. And it's using a lot of the same terminology in terms of request for determination and order of conditions, and so, you know, will there be confusion, I guess? Is
Mhm.
there, you know, so will somebody be confused if they have two order of conditions, or you're folding it into one? I saw at one point, but that wasn't mentioned until later into the ordinance. So I think some of that procedural stuff for clarity should be up front rather than sort of buried later on. So, and then again, with some of the definitions, you know, the definitions are buried in the middle. Typically, that's, you want to define terms before you use them, so sort of flipping those up earlier. And then I just wondered if there was a way to sort of streamline it and make it more shorter, because it's still pretty long and meaty, and if you're using some of the same terminologies that are already used under the existing state wetlands act, just referencing those CMRs rather than having to spell everything out. Again, although there's some things clearly that are not covered under the wetlands that you want to cover under here, so I think that makes sense to be expansive, but if you're just shrinking the buffer, it doesn't seem like you really need to go and redefine everything, but like I said, I have a different perspective because I'm looking at it from more of a zoning permitting side, not necessarily the policy side, I guess, of what you're trying to accomplish, so that was sort of my gut reactions, and then also making sure there's some sort of waiver provision under the performance guarantee. I didn't see anything under there. I did see it see, there's two versions, so it was a little confusing.
There's an ordinance and there are regulations.
So I read the ordinance.
Okay.
Is more, and then I started to go through the regulations, and then I was like, too much. So I think that there could be some, if there's a way to streamline and to be efficient and to utilize the regs that are already out there and just to reference them so you don't have to be duplicative, I think it would make it cleaner in terms from the one who has to administer it. A lot of times if I've got people coming in and asking me questions, I want to be able to make it clean and clear on what they need to do and how this is different than what the current process is, and how it would get folded in and how it would be part of it or not part of it, and how that gets sort of differentiated, I guess. So that was just sort of my first read gut reaction kind of thing.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So that's that.
Awesome. Thank you. All right.
And it will be interesting to see how this plays out politically, to be honest. So, but that's a whole other discussion
Yeah,
for a whole other
exactly.
day. But it'll be interesting to see.
Do you have more hard copies of those?
Not on me. I can email it to you.
She'll put a statement in there shall be an agent provided to the Conservation Commission.
Well, I mean, there were things in here that the city's not gonna have the capability to do too, you know? Like, one of the things was that the commission would provide a sign, and the sign had to get posted. We don't have money for signs. I mean, we're not gonna have like a stack of signs that we're gonna hand out to people. So,
The example for that is, it's actually a practice in at least Northampton, where it's like those corrugated plastic signs.
okay, but Northampton has a different budget than we do.
I'm just giving the example because it's the whole, like, no one reads the legal notices, people may or may
Sure.
not get, so.
It makes sense just from a,
Would the fees
Right.
that we would charge ultimately pay for the signs?
potentially, but it would have to, I mean, we would have to make sure that it really truly does cover the cost of the signs and the administrative time that it takes to process these things.
Right.
So, I mean, you could, potentially, but,
So it's not a one-use thing. It gets recycled.
But they wouldn't
Oh,
And
say
they
that.
they slip a sheet of paper in
I see.
that has the information on it.
Okay, okay, I wasn't clear.
Sorry.
And that's fine. That's why I said.
So it'd be the property
You
of
do
the
this
city
on a
then?
daily basis, I'm looking at this from the more of the permitting.
But that's
Yeah.
why I'm glad you're looking at it.
Yeah. And just making sure, I have a note here, just make sure it's conflict with the sign ordinance that we have.
Right.
So we'd have to make sure that whatever gets done
So.
meets those regs, so.
Mhm. So I guess I'm thinking, like, so when public shade trees when there's gonna be a public shade tree hearing, they post a notice on the tree.
I don't know if that happens in East Hampton.
I think they did on
Did they?
South.
Yeah. When they refinished South Street a couple years ago.
Okay. So that was through the tree warden.
Mhm.
But that's a good point. What would be, what's acceptable and what isn't? Right.
Those are just like 8.5 by 11 pieces of
Staple.
paper stapled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question on the actions. It says Jessica to put together an ad hoc committee, including the city planner, Jim Gratian, members of the planning board, and members of conservation
So
commission.
I have
Is
on
that-
the planning board's agenda for tomorrow night to designate somebody from the planning board. I have a feeling that nobody really wants to step up and it'll just be me.
And what is this committee going to be called? Is it just the Wetlands Protection Ordinance Committee?
Isn't that a stormwater
It's a
committee?
stormwater.
Stormwater Committee?
Yeah, that's
Because
separate.
these are the three permitting bodies for the
Mhm.
stormwater ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could that start meeting like after July?
Doesn't get better, Dan.
No, it definitely does. After June 30th, like it's a little bit better every year. Only mine does. So everyone
end of
has to,
fiscal year.
what I'm asking is that everybody plan their schedule around mine.
I'm done.
Okay.
Doing nothing until.
I've got nothing on the rail trail. No updates on the Borachowski.
Did something come through? Matt? No?
I didn't see that.
Double check on that. Echo Dale, maybe spring, summer.
Well, I have to say, a little birdie told me today that's, I think it's somebody on the garden committee has started to prune some of those trees.
Okay.
Good for them.
All right, well, I mean, it's your property to manage technically, and so is the community
so-
garden, so.
Perhaps we should schedule a site visit for next Monday evening up at the community garden, Echo Dale West property.
I'm gonna be meeting there anyways.
With the what?
I'm meeting there anyways.
Oh, good. We can all
You have a plot?
Yeah.
Can do that. All right.
look at calendar.
That's May 4th.
May 4th. Okay, so we're having a meeting that night, so if y'all could go.
May 5th.
I can't.
May 6th.
No, that's someone's birthday. You all can go and meet.
Well, it's popular.
That's not the word I'd use. Yeah, no, just because I have a conflict on the 4th doesn't mean the rest of the commission can't can't do this.
And what is the meaning? What is the purpose of a site visit? Just walk the orchard?
Yeah. Hey, Colin, if you can make that, so there's a spring or a seep that breaks out up in the orchard area and becomes a channelized stream as it flows southwesterly,
Downhill.
Yeah.
downhill even.
Right?
Because of the limits of the community garden at the time, I didn't try to really map it too clearly up there. But if they're just managing the orchard, it's not agriculturally exempt. So, because it's not been in active agricultural use.
I think it's just, what I heard is that it's just like a tree or two on the side of the community garden. Somebody just started pruning just to see if they could get it to come back.
Yeah.
Which could be all fine and good, it just irks me a little bit, personally.
Well, no, and I think that's the point.
Right.
I think we need to be clear about the boundaries here, that that's not part of the community garden.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to determine the impacts of the pruning as it relates to the existing wetlands,
As
what do
it
we do?
relates to the overall,
You're managers of the
Orchard.
property, so it's
Yeah.
not, this isn't necessarily a wetlands
This
permitting
is-
issue. This is a conservation, open space management issue
Yeah.
under your jurisdiction.
and there may or may not be a Wetlands Protection Act component as well.
Correct.
Okay.
And I can I'll email Russell and Elaine
Mhm.
and see if they want to be available. And I can contact the community garden members as well and see if they
Mhm.
want to be there as well.
Yeah.
What about the guy who came to talk? He's
I don't know.
Rick Tufts, that's what I was gonna,
No,
yeah.
is that Rick Tufts? No,
No,
no, it was
different.
a younger
Oh,
man. I
um,
think he works at Riverside.
Yes, Ben Lesko.
Thank you.
So we'll invite him too.
Yep, I have to email him on another issue anyway, so.
So I can't do next Monday either. But just thanks.
I mean, let's see if the majority of other folks are available next Monday evening. Let's still do that
Of these folks,
Yeah.
my piece of paper.
on your piece of paper.
Okay.
Like-
I mean, I think it's just easier for you to say, we've scheduled the site visit, we're gonna be here in this
Okay.
time.
I
Or
agree.
do it that way.
Because we're never going to have enough
Yeah.
the right time for
consensus.
everybody yet.
So.
So
Just
So
like
can,
May 4th.
can the rest of you go?
That's
Yay, I think so.
5:30,
Yep.
6
Should
p.m.
be able
Take your
to.
time.
5:30.
And also
Okay.
Jessica, who's sort
So
of
you were
the
going to be
open space
the
conservation person on the board. Okay.
Okay.
No pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
Totally have one.
Are we just
5:30.
looking for activities?
May 4th.
At
Be
what
there.
time?
5:30.
We can talk about it between now
Okay.
and then. Okay, meeting minutes approval, March 23rd and April 13th. March 23rd was the night that we didn't have a quorum, so we just have kind of a placeholder.
Do we need to approve them?
Do we need to approve them, Jess?
For what? Your notes? Your
Yeah.
meeting?
No.
We don't have a
So
quorum, so you can't vote.
FYI, we didn't have a quorum, no one can vote on it. This is what we're sending to Barb and putting in our binder as a placeholder. So no one wonders what happened about the March 23rd meeting.
Perfect.
Great. April 13th, 2015 meeting minutes.
Are here somewhere?
Here.
These incorporate your edits that you made today, Melissa?
Thank you. Very minor wordsmithy.
Was that a question, Chris? or a
Maybe.
statement?
No, a statement. These
Okay.
do, sorry.
Me being me.
Well, these are like hours, Chris, kind of minutes.
Seriously.
That was the one we held a public hearing.
Just
Yeah.
imagine, the next morning, I'm like, what was I writing? They were trying to decipher my own scribble
Yeah.
or random words. Not really scribble.
Okay.
Okay, would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from April 13th, 2015.
Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right.
Chris, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
So are we still correcting these?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Comments, right? Yeah,
Put it in here.
they have comments.
Yeah.
Okay, correspondence. Application for cell
So,
tower?
There's a ZBA request, okay, let me just give some background here. So under our zoning, we have a wireless overlay district. They'd like to site a cell tower outside the wireless overlay district. So they're requesting a variance through the zoning board of appeals to place a cell phone tower outside of the wireless zone. If the ZBA does approve it, then it will go to the planning board for the site plan review and
Okay.
through a special permit application. So this ZBA application is strictly just for
Okay.
getting a use variance, basically. And we typically don't allow use variances in East Hampton, however, federal law kind of trumps our
Mhm.
zoning at this point because of the federal transportation.
So,
Communication Act, sorry.
so at this point, there may, the comment would be there may,
I mean, you could look at it, but if they get approved, there will be another application
round.
that comes through the
So-
planning board, which then would provide you additional comment more on the site plan.
Mhm.
This really is about justification for having a gap in service and requesting.
so no comment at this time.
I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just
Is
giving you the
everyone-
I'm just giving you the background.
Thank you.
I mean, what do
This
we?
is- It's 51 Brook Street, so I have no, I know roughly where that is, but I don't
Basically, the
know.
backside of Montauk Park.
Montauk Park, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
so, and
Street that goes like through.
I have no idea. There, Broad Brook flows back there, and I assume is perennial at this point, so.
I mean, you could say could be WPA jurisdiction, to wait on a site plan, I don't know, however you want to phrase it. Because I don't think it's actually cited on that. I haven't looked at that.
No.
I haven't looked at the other part.
It didn't, quick glance didn't look like it.
It is called Brookstone.
Existing conditions. This figure shows it's pretty far in Broad Brook, but could always be stuff around there.
Okay, So I'm saying site slash proposed activities, I know there aren't any proposed yet, but maybe within Mass Wetlands Protection Act jurisdiction, site development may be subject to further Mass Wetlands Protection Act permitting with the Conservation Commission. What are you doing there?
Good.
What
You're
can
like
we
a little
do?
dig safe man.
Yeah, little
Oh.
dig safe man. Got my hard hat on here with my
Good call.
digger. Well, I should call it dig safe. Should have done it last week, but
There's a butt chin right there on that guy.
Can't help it, he was drawn. Okay. Does anyone, you need this.
I need it back, but you can just.
All right, we have received a request for determination of applicability for 74 Plain Street.
in Blandford.
In East Hampton. Thanks. Plain, bland.
Oh,
Play on words.
wow.
Never explaining.
There's no applicability.
There you go. Filed by Mark Reed, Heritage Surveys on behalf of David Hardy, local builder. So they're asking to.
HARDY?
Yes. They're asking two things. One, they would like us to review their observations and see if we concur that White Brook is in fact intermittent and not perennial in this reach. And the other is whether or not the work is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and would require filing a notice of intent. We do have this electronically, and I believe it looks like we only have one paper copy, so if no one minds, I'll leave the paper copy here with Jess. And I'll send the electronic copy around. That's one for which I think there would be a site visit regarding the stream, the question about the stream. Parsons.
Which is the decision from the ZBA.
Okay, this had no wetlands jurisdiction, so.
But it was already it's Parsons Village, they asked for amendments to
Okay.
their permit.
Anyone want to see it? Okay, and the last thing is special permit application and site plan for 1 to 3 Lovefield Street, National Flooring. Oh, so is that right at the end of Ferry? And is it all interior? So interior, even if within Wetlands Protection Act jurisdiction, if it's interior to the building, there's no jurisdiction.
If they use change, they're not building anything
Okay,
new.
so.
And soon we will have electronic permitting so that you can just do these online.
I'll need help.
This is a what is this document you're signing up on?
This is a special permit application
Okay.
to the planning
Planning
board.
board.
Planning board. All work is, or it's site use change.
It's just a change of use in the,
There we go.
in the building.
All right. Anything else?
So these guys make it on the agenda for next week,
They're on the May 11th agenda,
next time.
next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can contact Mark Reed if we want to try to schedule a site visit before the May 11th meeting. So that would be May 4th, or an alternate evening that week.
You can do any other evening.
I do the Women's Thursday. I'll do it.
Could we do it
Yeah.
before the meeting? 5:30 on May 11th?
We have done crazier things.
It has to be not 5:30, it has to be like 5:15. We always go more than half an
Yeah.
hour. We have to
Yeah.
get here.
And we have to get here.
Good setup.
And I
Well,
don't
we
know what
could-
Pine Street is.
We could start our meeting at 6:30 on May 11th. We could,
That's just
except they've already published the ad for 6, never mind. Never mind, outsmarted ourselves.
We could do Sunday.
Could people do Sunday?
It's
People
not
on
Mother's
family?
Day. That might be Mother's Day.
Oh crap, I
I
think
think
it
it's
is.
I think we should do it.
Bring your kids.
No. It's Mother's Day.
Oh god.
I just discovered that I'm soon to be in the doghouse.
No, set the reminder now.
No, it's the 10th. You got like 13, 14 days left.
Oh, is it that? Oh,
Yeah.
Second Sunday.
excellent. You guys make me feel better.
You'll just be in the doghouse for going on a site visit on Mother's Day.
Yeah,
That's right.
so let's not do that.
It'll be the doghouse for not doing anything between now and then.
Right, you're
I've
still
got a
gonna-
kid's birthday party on the 9th. I don't think I can bail on the morning of the 9th.
An all-day track meet.
How about the 8th?
Can do.
Can do?
Sure.
Friday the 8th? Kick off the
Sure.
weekend with a site visit?
Is it near a brewery or?
It is a good.
It is. Everywhere is near.
It is in East Hampton.
Yeah.
That should be our tagline for our city. You're always near a brewery.
I want to do East Hampton. We're really hopping.
Oh.
I don't
As
get it.
opposed.
Hop and
Hop.
beer.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, come on, Northampton's got a good one.
That's
Where
not-
the coffee is strong and the women are too.
Is that official?
It's on the parking
It's
garage.
on the parking garage. It's gonna be pretty official.
Holyoke has hot damn.
That's good. That's good. We should get on this. We should have a competition. Who can name the city?
I think Jess just won.
Tagline.
so.
We're hopping.
We're hopping. Well, it used to be the center of the universe. Remember those bumper stickers?
Really?
Really?
Yankee Candle?
Eh.
No.
No, that's the,
That's the
yeah, the
thing.
center. Yes.
No, it's the
Center
city
of
of
the
East
universe.
Hampton, the center of the universe. You never saw those bumper
No.
stickers? You used to get them at the Chinese food place, right next to Subway. They
Oh,
sold them
I've
there.
seen them
I
on
had them on my
cars
car.
before.
It's the best.
I don't know. Why were we called that?
Come on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, we are.
Because you can't disprove it.
Geographical.
You can't disprove. Oh my god, that's fantastic.
2012 Person of the Year.
What's that?
I may have.
That
I
was
probably
proof.
can go. We'll see.
We could do Thursday if it's the Friday night thing.
Yeah, Thursday would be fine too.
Thursday works. Thursday the 7th.
This is, of course, if Mark Reed is available that night.
Right. Well,
So this is 74 Plain Street?
yes, yeah, it's right across from. Is it Kingsbury Way? Help me. It's near where.
It's
We
on
did-
the
we
end,
did-
It's Kingsbury Way.
Yeah, it's south of that.
on the Hendrick Street end, not the Strong end.
Yeah, it's east of Plain. It's off of Plain, east of Strong.
I thought it was on Plain.
It's on Plain. That's what I mean. It's off of.
It's in plan.
It's east of Strong Street. So there's a four-way intersection at Strong Street.
Yep.
It's east of
Yep.
that.
All right, so you're gonna go see if you're gonna contact Mark Reed and Tom Hardy and ask if they're available on the 7th.
Yeah, if you put it in there and it
Just
reminds
did.
me.
Do we have a guest time right now?
Let's say 5:30
Okay.
to 6:30, not 5:30. Let's invite Dan Cody. Let's him know what's going on. I tend to forget to mention things like this. Okay. Cool. Is there anything else? Jay, when is your site visit? Tomorrow morning?
9 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay. I'll try to run stream stats tonight or first
Okay.
thing in the morning.
Fun.
Actually, I can-
It hasn't been working very well lately.
I don't know how to read it. I just know how to run it.
I know how to find what I need to find.
Yeah, I wish I did. Someone should tell me that.
Okay, so is there anything else, Jess? Anyone? Bueller?
No, I think you guys need to wrap up.
All right.
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.